What if I told you there is a method that is going to literally make you so much pollen and honey in an hour that literally you most likely probably have never considered this method, and this is doable for just about literally everyone. So starting off pretty much for the core setup. So this is both going to cover you the math around why this method is going to be better, the base setup around how this is going to be applicable to any crop type or plot, garden level, whatever you have. This is going to be applicable to genuinely anyone and be like the best way you can optimize your setup in any way. And I'm going to be starting off with the reason why this method works so well. So with the track, pretty much the way you get progression is you get progression via kilogram weight rather than the value of the crop itself, meaning this is perfectly universal to apply to anyone. So I'll be showing you why this is really overpowered and the ways you can abuse techniques to make this even better. So what we're going to be first looking at is what this does. So I have a website that is like a calculator. This will be in the description if I remember to put it here. And this is going to have all of the grow garden plants. You know, you can also check the mutations and values and all that stuff. But what we're going to be using is to look at the base kilogram weight. So currently you can look at normal seed shop, right? Or seed packs and seed shops and all that. And you can use this to determine what you're going to use. So this is the reason why, right? Is so you can see the base kilogram weight that this plant offers. So say a coconut, its base kilogram is going to be 13 kg, meaning if you have a coconut, this one isn't as rare, this is only a mythical. This thing, if this gets pollinated, is always going to be a one-time trade-in rather than say like a moon melon or something that obviously isn't using the sprinkler method, which I'll cover later in the video to show you how you can optimize with that. But this isn't going to be like, you know, too far-fetched because for most of the plants you get, you can obviously get these in at least 10 kg. So then if you look at like the high fruit, no. Nectarine, no. Rose, no. Foxglove. This, okay, so this one, not this one. Actually, no, yeah, this one, this is a mythic from the seed pack. This one also has a base 10 kg. That's another thing to note. Then you have the pink lily, no. Lilac, no. And the sunflower, yes. Okay, so obviously those aren't, you know, more common. But then you have things from like the night event where these don't have a base 10 kg. The only thing I think that has a base 10 kg is the moon mango, which not a lot of people have. And then additionally, you know, from like, this is the popular, so hive fruit and all these things, these are going to be, this is not really necessary. It's just really good to be able to see the base kilogram weight that your plants that you have. So that way you can determine whether, you know, if you want to remove or add crops. Now do note, I would recommend deleting, like I've deleted so many crops since the start of this event, just because the base value you're getting out of the crops obtainable in this one far exceeds what's currently obtainable through a shop. So being put lightly, pretty much what I mean is the ones active in this event have such intensely good sell value that I feel like you can delete half the crops in your entire plot and still be able to, you know, harvest for more money. The next thing to know, so things like mushrooms, these usually have way higher. Moon mangoes, coconuts, dragon fruits, and beanstalks, these all usually on average have over 10 kg. This is something to take away. So obviously things like mushrooms, though, these are single harvest. So this isn't as optimal, but it is still, you know, a thing to consider. Next is going to be the way you can like obviously optimize your garden. Now I would obviously recommend planting down as many of the, you know, high kg plants as you can. But when it comes down to it, eventually, you know, if you just have enough in general, it doesn't really matter. So obviously mushrooms, and then currently available mushrooms, coconuts, moon mangoes aren't anymore, beanstalks and all that. And if you do want a good notifier, so if you want to know when these things are in shop, if you don't currently have them, you can join my Discord server. We have a stock notifier that is actively notifies you on stock, then egg stock, and then weather events. So this is pretty helpful, I would say, for knowing when you want to hop online to see what's in stock or not. Additionally, another thing we're going to be looking at is the giveaway I'm hosting on this video. I always do giveaways, if you didn't know. We're giving away 10 exotic flower seed packs, not 10 of 10. That's way too much. I'm going to be giving away just 10. You know, I'm not that. I'm just kind of broke. I'm just kidding. Anyways, though, to enter into the giveaway, super simple. Just subscribe, comment your username down below. Me entering you in. Obviously, I'll only check if you're subscribed before I, you know, poll you as the winner. But anyways, though, that's going to be a giveaway on this video. Would recommend because, you know, it's free. Next thing is going to be obviously the raccoon. So this is something I'm doing. This is an alt account of mine. As you see, it's Sergeant's alt. So these plants have all been pollinated and for the most part are all a decently high kg. I was doing it with just this one, which I would recommend if you could only do it with like a mushroom, because if you get a high sell value, this then is better worth it, because then you can have a really high base sell value thing that you're just duplicating over and over and over. This is also really overpowered for pretty much anything. Like back in the lunar track, this is what I used. Now we have this, right? And then they're bringing back the meteor showers. So if I can try to get this thing hit with a meteor, and then on top of that also get struck with lightning and all that, this thing's gonna be worth so much, and then I can just use a raccoon to infinitely dupe it over and over. Once again though, I can check the calculator website. This thing is a bit bigger than average, so I'm assuming it's somewhere in the base is 25, so I'm assuming this one's around 35 kg. We'll assume it's pollinated, and then say it gets frozen, shocked, and celestial. This thing's gonna be worth almost 70 million, right? Then if I can get other stuff, so say they run a disco and then 100 million, or I get another mushroom and get it golden, then this thing's gonna be worth in the billions. So you see where I'm getting at is, then with that, I could be copy pasting this with the raccoon and then delete this, and then this account's entire purpose is just to infinitely farm that. The next thing is going to be obviously the infinite raccoon is applicable via this by getting the pollinated plants. So obviously, you know, you can do things like that, try to grab that. The red fox, not really that good. I have one, but then we have the raccoon. This thing is going to allow you to copy and paste these. So this is one it pulled, yes. This is the smallest one on the tree, which is 8 kg, but it's been pulling like, I searched pollinated. Yeah, it's been pulling like decent size. So this is a good thing I would recommend doing if you have one of these. We also have a really good trading server. I do see people trading raccoons all the time, so you should check out the trading server. It is pretty efficient too. And then the next thing, which is obviously the alt grinding with emulators, is going to allow you to both grind these plants in general. So if you have multi-harvestable crops, you can use that for grinding. So if you have a bunch of coconut plants on an alt, or want to grind coconut plants on an alt, and then you can leave that alt in game, collect all the pollinated, feed it to your main. This is going to allow you to do this. Now I do have a website and a video. If I remember to, it should be right like here on the best way. That's if I remember to, on alt farming emulators, online emulators, and just AFKing in general, which is what I'm using right now, because currently I'm using what's called UG Phone, which is an online emulator. Also have my website in the description. It'll look like this on UG Phone, and all the systems, right? You also get a bunch of free stuff if you use my link, which is also once again on the website. I would recommend checking that out because you can get a stupid amount of free crap out of this. And once again, you can just leave your alt running. Right now, my alt is just running right here, AFK, and he's been like this for a few hours. Now, obviously, to wrap that up with the collection and grinding of pollination, the method I'm going to be using that I think everyone should be using when it comes to actually grinding this is what you're going to need to do is set up a auto hotkey based system, or y'all also have automations in the description on my website. What these are going to look like are, so this is what it is, right? It's my website. Sorry, this took me a minute to find. So this is all of the tiny tasks and automations I've made. So this one will automatically trade in your pollinated plants. It's fairly simple for the setup. You just search pollinated, right? And then it will auto trade in everything for you that's pollinated. Then the next one is the auto buy. It'll auto buy the nectarine and the hive seed. So this is once again if you're wanting to AFK for a while. Then there's auto buy eggs and seeds. So this will only buy the eggs and seeds out of here. And then the next one, which completely buys literally everything, is shown though except for cosmetics. You just download it. It'll send you over to the MediaFire bin. The reason why I have them set up like this is so the GitHub, if you actually go to the official Tiny Task website, the GitHub is broken. So as you see, you can't download it for some reason. So the GitHub for Tiny Task is broken. So I just have the MediaFire for, you know, Tiny Tasks, this file right here. So if you do want to, obviously this will also be in the description. You can use this. As you see, we have Tiny Tasks open now, and then all the automations are in folders and stuff. This is, once again, I would recommend using Tiny Tasks because it's super helpful for a lot of purposes. Now we are working on an official macro that will automate literally everything in the game for you. It's like exploits without exploiting pretty much. It will auto do buying seeds. You can select what seeds you want. You can auto sell. It'll go through your crops and your base. It's collecting, and then you can sell them. You can auto buy stuff from the shop. If there's an active event, we'll even make sure to have it updated to where there's active events. You can auto feed pets. Literally everything you do in the game can be perfectly automated. Now, if you do want to check out the leaks for this isn't obviously out yet. You can join my Discord server. We are constantly leaking this and just trying to like hype it up. You know, we are close to finally releasing it. But anyways, if this video helps you out, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you on the next one.